So, what if I told you that one of the most common ingredients in your livestock feed holds a major secret to better productivity? Well, today we're diving deep into de-oiled rice bran, or DORB, and we're going to show you exactly how to unlock its full potential for your farm.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Producers who are really on top of their game are calling this kind of knowledge a treasure trove of valuable information. This is a real game changer, folks. So let's get into it and see what all the buzz is about. All right, first up, let's talk about the promise of DORB, because when it's good, it's not just another filler. It's actually an incredible asset for any modern, sustainable farm. Okay, just look at this. The potential here is huge. We're talking about a single ingredient that's super nutritious, it's sustainable, and, get this, it works for cattle, fish, and poultry. When the quality is there, it directly boosts your animal's health and their productivity. It almost sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, that brings us to the big but. And this is probably the most important part of this whole explainer. The truth is, not all DORB is created equal. The key isn't just using DORB, it's using high-quality DORB. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How can you be sure that you're getting that powerful, high-impact ingredient you're paying for, and not something that could actually be hurting your bottom line? And this right here, this is what it all boils down to. On the one hand, you've got high-quality DORB. It's pure. It's got more of what we call live or digestible protein, the stuff your animals can actually use to grow. But on the other hand, you've got the low-quality stuff. It can be adulterated, loaded with fillers, which jacks up the fiber and adds junk like sand and silica. It also has more dead, indigestible protein. You could literally be paying for protein that your livestock can't even absorb. So, how in the world do you tell the good stuff from the bad? Well, you don't have to guess. The answer isn't in how the feed looks or feels. It's all in the numbers. You just need to know how to decode the lab report. Honestly, this is the easiest way to think about it. Don't let all the technical terms scare you off. A lab report is just the nutritional label for your animal feed. And once you know what to look for, it becomes your absolute best friend for quality control. All right, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty now. We're going to focus on the 7 key numbers that tell you pretty much everything you need to know about the quality of your DORB. Let's break them down. First up is moisture content. Now, this one seems simple, but it is absolutely critical. Too much water is a recipe for disaster. It leads to mold, and it just wrecks the shelf life of your feed. That's why you need to know the magic number, and that number is between 9 and 11%. If you see a report with moisture higher than 11%, that's a red flag. That feed is a risk, especially for long-term storage. When it comes to moisture, lower is pretty much always better. Okay, next, crude protein. This is the big one that everyone looks at for growth and milk production. But remember what we just talked about? This number is the total protein. It includes both the good stuff, the live protein, and the useless, the dead protein. So yeah, the ideal range you're looking for is around 15 to 16%. But a high number here doesn't mean anything by itself. It has to be backed up by good numbers on the other metrics we're about to cover. Which brings us right to crude fiber. This is a measure of the indigestible stuff in the feed. And it's a huge piece of the puzzle. You need some fiber, sure, but a really high number is a major warning sign. It often means cheap fillers have been added, which just dilutes all the good nutrients, which is why you're looking for a number right in this sweet spot, 9 to 11%. If it's much higher than that, you can bet the overall digestibility of that feed is taking a nosedive. Metric number 4 is sand silica. This one is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a direct measurement of how much sand and dirt is in your feed. High levels are not just bad for digestion, it literally means you are paying for dirt. So for this one, the rule is super simple. You want it under 3%. The lower, the better. No question. A high number here points straight to sloppy processing or even deliberate contamination. Now we're at total digestible nutrients, or TDN. Just think of this as the overall energy score. It's an estimate of how much of that feed your animal can actually use for energy, for growth, for milk, for just staying healthy. And with an energy score, higher is always better, right? You're aiming for something in the 65 to 70% range. This number is a fantastic summary of the feed's real bang for your buck. And finally, we have ash content. This is usually broken into two numbers, total ash and acid insoluble ash, or AIA. Think of total ash as a general measure of mineral content, but AIA is more specific. It's basically measuring things like sand and soil that shouldn't be there. High levels of either mean the feed's nutrients are diluted by contaminants. Whew, I know that was a lot of numbers, so let's put it all together. Here is your at-a-glance cheat sheet. Moisture tells you about shelf life, protein for growth, fiber for digestibility, sand, silica, and ash for purity, and TDN for energy. Seriously, pause here, take a screenshot of this. This table is your key to decoding any lab report with confidence. Okay, so we've cracked the code on the science. Now, let's talk about how you actually use this information to get real, tangible results back on the farm. The most important thing is to take a holistic approach. Don't just get fixated on one number, like protein. Look at how all 7 numbers tell a story together. Compare them to the ideal ranges we just talked about, but also think about the specific needs of your animals. Track the reports from your supplier over time. Are they consistent? And most importantly, if a number looks off, ask questions. A good supplier will have the answers. And this brings us right back to where we started. When you master that lab report and make sure you're using high-quality DORB, you get that payoff. It's a simple, powerful equation. Quality in equals quality out. This isn't just theory. It translates directly to higher weight gain, lower mortality rates, less sickness, and at the end of the day, better productivity and a healthier bottom line for your farm. So here's the bottom line. Every single bag of feed you buy has a story to tell about its quality and its potential. The lab report is how you read that story. The only question left is, are you reading it?